third. Cade all the way to the basket, scores it!
Out of the floor, work it over Herter, and hits the fadeaway on the baseline.
Cade to the trailer! Cunningham, meanwhile, his guy's rolling to the basket, unguarded. Back cut by Tobias Harris, ends up.
Has it. Rob to Jalen for a jam.
For the outstretched arm of Bam Adebayo.
The Detroit Pistons were a laughingstock. 28 straight losses. The longest single-season losing streak in NBA history. A franchise with 3 championships reduced to a punchline. And now, these same Pistons sit at 36-12. First place in the Eastern Conference. An MVP candidate, a Defensive Player of the Month, and a coach leading the All-Star game. In less than 2 years, they didn't just get better. They became exactly what the NBA feared. So how does a team go from historic failure to the top of the East? But first, you have to understand just how far they fell. Let me paint you a picture. The Detroit Pistons once went to 6 straight Eastern Conference Finals, 2003 to 2008, championship in 2004. They were the team in the East. The Bad Boys' legacy wasn't just history, it was alive. And then, it all fell apart. Their last playoff appearance, 2019. A first-round sweep. Forgettable. But here's the stat that really stings. Their last playoff win happened May 26th, 2008. 17 years. That's how long Detroit went without winning a single postseason game. In the 2 seasons before J.B. Bickerstaff arrived, this franchise went 31-133. That's not a typo. 31 wins over 2 years combined. But 23-24? That was something else entirely. The Pistons started 2-1, respectable, maybe even promising. Then the floor disappeared. They lost 28 games in a row. 28, the longest single-season losing streak in NBA history. They shattered the previous record of 26. Tied the all-time mark set by Philadelphia across 2 seasons. In November alone, they went 0-15. Final record, 14-68. And the kicker? Monty Williams was coaching this team on the richest contract in NBA history. $78.5 million guaranteed. 14 wins, but lost in all the mockery was Cade Cunningham, the #1 overall pick, the franchise cornerstone, carrying an impossible weight on a team that simply couldn't win. He dropped 41 points in one of those losses. Didn't matter. Still took the L. During the streak, Cade was asked about staying positive. A lot of my positivity comes from the joy of the game, but there's nothing positive about this situation right now that we've put ourselves in. That's a 22-year-old carrying a franchise through its darkest stretch. A kid who'd already battled a shin injury and knee tendinopathy that shut him down early. And now this. Here's what makes it heavier. In 85 years of existence, the Pistons have never had an MVP. Not Isaiah, not Ben Wallace, not Chauncey, not Grant Hill. Nobody. Cade wasn't just trying to win games. He was trying to lift a cursed franchise off the mat. And after 23-24, it looked impossible. But sometimes, hitting rock bottom is exactly what a franchise needs. Because when the Pistons cleaned house in summer 2024, they didn't just make changes, they made a statement. The Pistons didn't just need a new coach, they needed a new identity. First move, Troy Weaver out, Trajan Langdon in as president of basketball operations. Langdon built the Pelicans' young core, respected league-wide, and his philosophy was clear from day one. They were focused on retaining and developing their current roster, rather than making an aggressive trade for a star. No shortcuts, no panic moves, just trust the process. Then came the coaching hire that raised eyebrows. J.B. Bickerstaff had just been fired by Cleveland after a 48-win season. After a second-round playoff appearance, the Cavs let him walk to hire Kenny Atkinson, a move that seemed lateral at best. Detroit pounced. Here's what people forgot about Bickerstaff. Coaching runs in his blood. His father, Bernie, was an NBA head coach for 10 years. JB grew up as a ball boy for the Seattle Supersonics, while his dad roamed the sidelines. He didn't learn this game from textbooks. He learned it from the trenches. His reputation? Defensive-minded, demanding, tough love that transforms players. Karis LeVert played under him in Cleveland. He said before playing under JB, he was a different player, that Bickerstaff challenged him to be a more well-rounded player. Bickerstaff walked into a locker room that had just endured the worst season in franchise history, and he told them one thing: we're not tanking, we're competing. The results were immediate. By December 23rd, 2024, the Pistons had already won 15 games. That's more than their entire 2023-24 season. They finished 44-38, a 30-win improvement, only the second team in NBA history to triple their win total from the previous year. Cade exploded. 26.1 points, 9.1 assists, 6.1 rebounds. First All-Star selection, All-NBA third team. The kid who carried them through the darkness was finally being recognized. And then, playoffs. First appearance since 2019. Game 2 against the Knicks. Detroit won, 100-94. Their first playoff victory in 17 years. Cade dropped a triple-double in Game 4, 25, 10, and 10. Only the third in franchise history. Isaiah Thomas had the other two, but Jalen Brunson hit a game winner in Game 6. Season over. So close. After the loss, Cade stood at the podium and said something that stuck. We proved to ourselves and the rest of the league that what we have in this room can be very successful. They had proven they belonged, but belonging wasn't enough. The Pistons had proven they could compete, but what's happened in 2025-26, that's when they proved they could dominate. Let's talk about what this team has become. 36-12, first place in the Eastern Conference, second best net rating in the entire NBA, second best defensive rating, first in steals per game. This isn't a fluke, this isn't a hot streak, this is dominance. And it starts with Cade Cunningham. 25.4 points per game, 9.7 assists. That leads the entire league. 5.6 rebounds, two-time All-Star, first-time starter. And on November 10th, 2025, against the Wizards, he did something no player in NBA history had ever done. 46 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists, 5 steals, 2 blocks. First player ever with 45-plus points, 10-plus rebounds, 10-plus assists, and 5-plus steals in a single game, ever, in the history of the league. That's not just a career night, that's immortality. He won Eastern Conference Player of the Month for October and November. And now, the MVP conversation has his name in it. Jeff Teague put it simply. He thinks Cade is the frontrunner for MVP because with the Pistons, he has no other star. Everybody else has legit stars on their team. He's the only one carrying that load alone. If Cade wins it, he becomes the first MVP in Pistons history. 85 years. Not Isaiah, not Ben Wallace, not Grant Hill. Cade. But he's not doing this alone. Jalen Duren has become a monster. Nearly 18 points and 10-plus rebounds a night. Double-doubles on demand. Cover of Slam magazine. Elite rim protector with an offensive game that's exploding. And he's only 22. Hasn't even hit his prime yet. Cade said it best. Duren is such a beast. He makes Cade look good. Makes his job easy. Then there's Isaiah Stewart. First Piston ever to win Defensive Player of the Month. Opponents shoot just 41.7% at the rim against him. Second best in the league. When Duren went down with an ankle injury, Stewart dropped a career-high 31 against the Bulls. Bickerstaff doesn't mince words. He called Stewart the best defensive center in the league, and it's not close. The depth runs deep. Ausar Thompson is becoming a two-way force. 10.7 points, 5.9 boards, and elite perimeter defense. Jaden Ivey is back from injury, providing instant offense. Tobias Harris played his 1,000th career game this season, steadying the ship with veteran poise. of Duncan Robinson and Karis LeVert stretched the floor. And when injuries hit, Cade's wrist, Duren's ankle, Harris's hip, Stewart's illness, this team kept winning. They rattled off a 13-game win streak, tied a franchise record. Bickerstaff trusted his guys. He said they needed a spark versus Chicago, and he thought Chaz could be that spark. Role players stepping up, stars delivering, a system that maximizes everyone. The stats are impressive. The wins keep piling up, but what makes these Pistons truly terrifying isn't just the talent, it's the identity they've built. Talent wins games, but identity wins championships. And these Pistons, they found theirs. It starts on the defensive end. Second best defensive rating in the NBA. Top 4 in opponent points per game. First in steals. This team doesn't just play defense, they suffocate you. They get in your face, disrupt your rhythm, and make every possession feel like a fight. The Stewart-Duren frontcourt has become a nightmare for opposing offenses. When those two share the floor, Detroit is plus 15.1. That's remarkable on its own. But here's the context. Every single season before this one, that duo was a negative. Bickerstaff figured out how to make them work together, and now they're one of the most dominant big man pairings in the league. Detroit has always rallied behind leaders who embody the city's mentality: tough, unfiltered, resilient, and willing to do the work. That's not just a slogan, that's the blueprint. And the architect, J.B. Bickerstaff. On January 25th, the league announced he'd coach the All-Star game. He's the front-runner for Coach of the Year after finishing runner-up last season to Kenny Atkinson, the same Kenny Atkinson that Cleveland hired to replace him. The irony isn't lost on anyone. Cleveland let him walk. Now he might win the award coaching against them. Sometimes the best revenge is simply winning. Bickerstaff's philosophy is simple. When asked about leadership, he described his father's approach and his own. He uplifted people and told people the hard truths, even when they might not want to hear it. Demanding, no nonsense, but built on trust. His players run through walls for him because they know he believes in them. In an era of load management and player empowerment, Bickerstaff has built something rare: genuine buy-in. The culture has shifted completely. Last offseason, Detroit added veterans, Tobias Harris, role players with playoff experience, specifically to teach this young core how to handle pressure. This year, those lessons are paying off. When stars go down, others step up. No ego, all execution. And that young core isn't so inexperienced anymore. Cade is 24. Duren is 22. Alsar is 23. Ivy is 23. Ron Holland is just 19. But they've been through the fire together. They survived the 28-game losing streak. They tasted the playoffs. They felt the sting of elimination. That shared history, it's invaluable. You can't manufacture that kind of growth. Veterans like Harris, Duncan Robinson, and Karis LeVert provide stability. But make no mistake, this is the young guys' team, and they're ready. The comparisons to the bad boys are inevitable. Isaiah Thomas, Joe DeMars, Dennis Rodman, Bill Laimbeer, back-to-back champions in '89 and '90, physical, defensive, fearless, a team that embodied Detroit's blue-collar grit, a team that made opponents hate coming to the Palace. These Pistons carry that same energy: elite defense, physicality, a massive chip on their shoulder. The city is ready to embrace them as the next great era, and the playoff outlook, it's never been better. Home court advantage through the Eastern Conference if they hold the top seed. A healthy roster entering February, and if they meet the Knicks again, that Game 6 loss is still fresh. Revenge is a powerful motivator. The question isn't if Detroit makes a playoff run, it's how far they go. 2 years ago, the Detroit Pistons were the laughingstock of the NBA. Today, they're exactly what every team in the league hoped they would never become. From 28 straight losses to first place in the East. From the worst record in the league to an MVP candidate and a Defensive Player of the Month. From 17 years without a playoff win to a team that could legitimately hoist a banner. Bickerstaff took a broken roster and gave them an identity. Cade took the weight of a franchise and turned it into fuel. And the rest of the NBA, they're not laughing anymore. The writing was on the wall, they said. Turns out Detroit just needed someone to rewrite it. So can the Pistons go all the way? Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.